My name is Brenda Thompson, and until recently, I was just another 52-year-old woman living under the relentless sun of Phoenix, Arizona. My life was a tapestry woven from the threads of routine. I ran a small Christian bookstore, a haven of peace smelling of antique paper and fresh coffee that I inherited from my late husband, Robert. He passed away 5 years ago, and since then the days have felt a little grayer, the silence at home a little louder. I had my two daughters, now grown and with families of their own, and my grandchildren who were the light of my Sundays. But deep down, a constant anxiety gnawed at me. I would turn on the television and see a world I no longer recognized. The anger, the division, felt like a poison spreading through the veins of our country. I felt small, powerless. Then, when I heard that Charlie Kirk would be holding a rally in Phoenix, I felt a spark of hope. It wasn't just about politics, it was about being with people who felt the same way as me, about finding a community that believed in the same values, that prayed for the same things. I wanted to feel that I wasn't alone in my concern for my grandchildren's future. The day of the rally was a typical Arizona summer day, brutally hot. The sun beat down on the asphalt of the parking lot, creating heat waves that distorted the air. The crowd was enormous, a sea of sweaty, hopeful faces all pressed together. The energy was electric, a mix of fervor and frustration. I was in the middle of it all, feeling the sweat drip down my back, but also feeling a strange sense of belonging. The speakers boomed with impassioned speeches, and the crowd roared its approval. But the heat was stifling, the air heavy and dense. I began to feel dizzy. The sound of voices began to distort, turning into a low, distant hum. I tried to take a breath, but it was like breathing hot wool. My chest tightened, a sharp, sudden pain, as if a giant hand were crushing my heart. My legs gave way. I looked at the faces around me, people shouting for a cause I also believed was just, but their faces seemed distant, as if I were seeing them through thick glass. I tried to call for help, but no sound came out. The world spun, colors blending into an indistinguishable blur, and then everything went black. The last sensation I had was the hard, hot ground rushing toward me. And then there was silence. A deep, absolute peace I hadn't felt since I was a child sleeping in my father's arms. The pain was gone. The heat, the noise, the anxiety, everything was gone. I was floating, light as a feather. I looked down and saw a chaotic scene. I saw my own body, pale and motionless on the ground. I saw people crowding, faces contorted in panic and worry. I saw paramedics pushing their way forward, their blue uniforms standing out in the crowd. They were working frantically on me, pressing on my chest, shouting orders, but I felt nothing. No connection to that body. It was like watching a sad movie about a stranger. There was only a serene calm, a quiet acceptance that this part of my story was over. Slowly, the scene below began to fade, as if I were ascending in an invisible elevator. The sound of the real world disappeared completely, replaced by a soft, vibrant harmony that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Ahead of me, a light began to form. It wasn't a blinding or harsh light, but a soft, inviting glow, like dawn on a spring morning. I felt an irresistible pull, a certainty that everything I'd ever sought was there, in that light. There was no fear. I entered it, or perhaps it entered me. The light was made of love. That was the only way to describe it. A love so pure, so unconditional, that it unraveled every knot of fear, every scar of pain I'd carried for 52 years. And in the center of that loving presence, I felt him. I didn't see him with eyes, for I didn't have them. I didn't see him as a bearded man in a white robe, like in the paintings in my bookstore. I experienced him. He was the light, he was the music, he was the love that enveloped me. His presence said without words, "Welcome home, my daughter. I've been waiting for you." And for the first time in my life, I felt I was exactly where I was supposed to be. The feeling of finally being home was so overwhelming that I cried, not tears of sadness, but tears of pure and utter joy. In this state of perfect peace, he showed me the world, but not as I knew it. He showed me the source of the anxiety I and so many others felt. I saw planet Earth, beautiful and blue, but it was covered in a pulsating dark web, a kind of spiritual static. This static was made of billions of threads, and each thread was a fearful thought, a hateful word, a contemptuous social media post, a cruel judgment. I could hear the sound of this web, a constant cacophonous hiss of accusations, of us versus them, of panic and despair. This static fed on division. Is my Robert here? I just want to rest. Going back is too painful. I can't take the struggle, the static, the loneliness anymore. His loving presence enveloped me with an even deeper compassion. My daughter, your weariness is understood, but you have seen the truth. Your rest will come, but not yet. You have a mission. There are many hearts trapped in static that need to hear a voice that has been on the other side. You must return and deliver a simple message. The thought of returning was agony. The thought of leaving this perfection to plunge back into fear and pain was unbearable. I can't, I pleaded. I am not strong enough. You will not be alone, he assured me. Now go. Shine your light. Before I could protest again, I felt a violent tug, as if an invisible hook had latched onto my soul and ripped me from that paradise. Peace shattered into a million pieces. I was sucked back into a dark, cold void. The heavenly music was replaced by the piercing shriek of a siren. The feeling of unconditional love was replaced by an excruciating, electric pain that shot through my chest as a defibrillator shocked my body. The lightness was gone, replaced by the crushing weight of mortality, the sensation of a tube being forced down my throat, scratching and choking. Coming back to life was not a gentle awakening. It was an act of violence. The first thing I saw when my eyes opened was the sterile white ceiling of a hospital room. The rhythmic beeping of a monitor was the only sound. My entire body ached. My throat was raw. I was alive. The disappointment was as strong as the relief. A few days later, a doctor entered my room holding my clipboard with an expression of utter disbelief. He was a gray-haired man with a face that betrayed years of experience and few surprises. But he was surprised. "Mrs. Thompson," he began, sitting on the edge of my bed, "I need to be frank with you. When the paramedics arrived, you had no pulse. They performed CPR all the way to the hospital. According to our records, you were clinically dead for at least 11 minutes. He paused, looking directly into my eyes. 11 minutes. Brenda, after 4 or 5 minutes without oxygen, the brain begins to suffer severe and irreversible damage. 11 minutes, frankly, according to all the medical books, you shouldn't be here. And even if, by some chance, your heart were to start beating again, you should be in a vegetative state. But you're talking to me, you're completely lucid. We did an MRI, there's no brain damage. It's medically impossible, there's no other word for it, it's a miracle." Her words were the proof my human side needed, the anchor that tethered my heavenly experience to earthly reality. And now, I know why I came back. I came back for you, to look directly into the camera, to reach through the screen and deliver to you the mission I was given. The message is this, and it's the most important thing you'll ever hear: stop fighting people, and start fighting for people. The world wants you to choose a side, to hate your neighbor because of their yard sign, to despise a stranger because of their online opinion. The static of fear feeds on this. Don't feed it anymore. The shocking truth is that the great battle for humanity's future is not fought on the battlefield or at the ballot box, but in your own heart, in the supermarket, at your dinner table. The next time you feel anger and fear rising, make a different choice. Hold the door for someone. Let a car merge in front of you in traffic. Listen to someone you disagree with, not to refute, but to understand. Pay a compliment. Forgive an offense. Each of these acts is a point of light. You don't need a platform or a million followers to change the world. You just need to choose love over fear, right now, in this very moment. That's our mission. That's how we survive 2026 and all the years to come. That's how we transform static into silence and weave a new earth, one act of love at a time.